All right, guys, welcome. It is week 2 of the Clean Kitchen Challenge. And this week is all about your figuring out what your nutritional eating level is. So we have everybody divided up into either level 1 or level 2. And honestly, it doesn't really matter.
No.
We want everybody to be a level 1. Like everybody from here on out,
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, not just for the challenge, you will be a level 1 eater because you are going to learn how to fill habits and you can't unknow what you learn. And
That's
so
true.
You're always going to be thinking, does this fill a habit? So it may not be that way right now, but after 12 weeks of hammering this, you will always think about those habits. So that's what we want everybody to be. We want everybody to be a level 1, and that is the foundation of just good health because you're trying to choose better quality or choose the better choice in whatever situation that you're in. So a level 1 is somebody that isn't necessarily practiced in drinking all their water. They're just trying to be better at it and making the better choice. Especially when you're first starting out and you're not very well practiced in adding a plant to your plate, no matter if it's a potato or fruit or whatever it is.
A plant as a snack.
Right, yeah. Like you're not necessarily, if you're entering level 1, you're not on automatic of thinking about these whole foods, but you're going to work on it. And so if you're trying to decide whether you want to be level 1 or level 2, you have to look at where you're starting from. And so that's really important so you don't get bogged down in thinking, oh, I failed if I didn't meet like level 2 habits.
Or getting overwhelmed because you're not used to eating 2 plants or 3 plants with every meal.
Correct.
So,
Everybody's starting the challenge in different phases. Like we have some more experienced eaters or healthy eaters. John
Walker, turn that down. Sorry.
Sorry. We have some more experienced eaters that are starting out, and so that's totally fine. They may be really good at the level 1 habits. And so once you're really good at level 1 and consistent, that's when you can move to level 2.
Yeah, I tell my clients, I'm not always a level 2, but I'm never not a level 1.
Right.
So I try to, how my life is now, mostly be a level 2, and I would say I am for the most part. You probably are too. You probably have multiple plants at every meal.
Yes.
But on vacation or on the weekend, I may fall into level 1 habits, but I would never...
You never go past.
Never go like crazy and just go back to eating McDonald's and every day and filling those kind of meals for my food. So like she said earlier, you can't unknow what you know.
And so as a level 1, you're constantly thinking about adding in the good. So particularly with the plant habit, that's the real difference between level 1 and level 2, and of course some protein habit selections. But the main difference, and as we go through the challenge, level 1, you are trying to pick any plant. Now we're going to give you goal numbers of plants to try to reach, but it doesn't matter if it's a fruit, vegetable, whatever, because we're really trying to hone in the habitual thought of choosing a whole food or choosing a plant for your plate every time you eat, whether it's a snack, regular meal, okay?
Yeah.
And then level 2, that's a person that has been well practiced in level 1, and they have no problem with adding a plant to their plate or, drinking, water in every meal. It's a habitual action. Like they don't have to think too hard about it. It's just they may want to fine tune some things because they have a specific goal. Like usually a level 2 is a regular exerciser, so they're working out for a specific body composition change. Not to say that level 1s don't want body composition change, but level 1s are more about, I want to feel good, I want to lose a bit of weight, or I even just want to maintain, you know, because either way, either goal, lose weight, maintain, whatever, it just varies in how much food you eat. But, level 1, it's just more a simple approach. And in level 2 is a little bit more hyper-focused on say in the future weeks, it's going to be more like about adding in all the veggies.
Yeah.
You know?
And you can lose weight at both levels. Just filling the habits, just doing your habits every day and making your habits a habit and something that you do every day, not just occasionally. The byproduct is losing weight because you're eating less calories by filling up on the goods. So you're just by doing the habits, whether they're level 1 and you're starting from ground zero, or you've been doing it for a while, or this is your second round.
And you want to stick with level 1.
There's nothing wrong with, we have a lot of coaches in the gym that are like, I don't even try to be a level 2. I'm, just a level 1.
For example, Stephanie doesn't like to eat raw vegetables. That's just like salads or like not her thing. Where bowl meals, like I can just pile things in and like eat them, like eat a ton of it. But she doesn't enjoy that, and so she likes to eat more fruit. Mm-hmm. And it's not that it's bad. She'll eat cooked veggies more, but either or. So she kind of floats between level 1, level 2. Whereas I tend to, float more towards the level 2 just because I don't mind eating, crazy amounts of vegetables.
And if you eat a lot of vegetables, you feel really full. And we've talked about this before. We really like to be full. We're not real good at the eat to 80% habit.
Like, don't eat to 80% full where you're not like stuffed. Like, I love feeling like the satisfaction of a full belly. But
if you feel yourself full of plants, you don't have that feeling of, oh my gosh, I need to go take a nap from eating a heavy, a bunch of junk or a big heavy meal.
Right. And that comes to another lesson that y'all are going to get. I think it's tomorrow, is how you should be feeling leading up to a meal. What we find a lot is that, especially with the habits, like everybody, they're usually like, oh, I got to lose a lot of weight, so I need to eat less.
Yeah.
Whereas we are trying to teach you to eat more and fill your plate with all those, different habits from the 5-habit cheat sheet, So when you get that chart, it's going to kind of break down, like, if you're hungry an hour, 2 hours after a meal, you may need to bump up your portion sizes. Yep. Or maybe you left out a food group. Like, did you only eat protein and not eat a carb and a fat?
Yeah.
And those things are going to factor in what your hunger cues are. So that lesson is really going to kind of dive into like making you aware of how you're feeling leading up to a meal. And whereas we'd like everybody to try to be, semi-hungry around the 3-hour mark, but if you're not hungry, like at 4 hours or something, you probably ate too much.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Now, that may not be happening right now, but later on, as you get consistent with eating these type of meals, you may be a person that's only eating twice a day or 3 times a day. And some people stick with that. That's totally fine. But you may start to get hungrier. So that's where you kind of work with your coach, say like, oh, I'm really starving. It's only been an hour and a half. And then you can look back and say like, oh, well, I didn't really fill this plate up with all of my habits,
And having done this myself, it is hard not to be in the diet mindset because you probably did sign up. Most people sign up to lose weight in the beginning. So if you are hungry or if you are feeling miserable, reach out to your coach and say, would you mind just kind of looking at what I ate this week? I feel like crap. And you probably haven't eaten enough carbs or
you're
plants.
Just under eating.
There's something that's off. So that's what the coaches are here for. So if you feel bad in week 2,
number one, it could be sugar detox.
Yes, and it could be getting rid of all of that. So carb flu from overeating processed carbs and all that getting out of your system.
Right.
But if you feel bad, do reach out to your coach either way, and we can kind of walk you through it.
Yeah. And so the next portion size that gets a lot of questions with level 1, level 2 is protein habit. And we kind of discussed it a little bit last week where level 1, again, you're just trying to make the better choice, like a whole food choice. So whether that means you use peanut butter or nuts or something like that as your protein source, that will fly. but the ultimate goal is to use a lean protein source, something that gives you more bang for your buck, because you're not going to eat a ton of cheese or a ton of peanut butter and get enough protein without overeating fat. Okay, so yes, it's okay as a level 1, like for a snack, peanut butter and apple, but just think in the back of your mind, if you're working towards to be a level 2, you are going to not be using like peanut butter or high fat, dense sources of protein for a protein habit. Not saying that you can't eat it, it's just don't think of it as filling a habit, if that makes sense. So like with level 2, because you probably are a regular exerciser and you have a specific goal in mind, like body composition wise, and you want to change or probably build muscle, most people are level 2s, they want to get a little bit leaner or something like that, you're going to fill your habit with lean protein sources. So that's any of the animal proteins, a protein supplement, a shake a day is totally fine too. Eggs, fish, seafood. No meat is off limits, and if you have a question about something, again, just ask your coach, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help clarify what your choices can be and what works for you. So
Rebecca had a question. Hey, Rebecca, said if you're feeling tired in the afternoons, does this mean that you need to eat a few more carbs?
Not necessarily. I mean, it could be a number of things. Like we've been talking about the sleep habit, and if you're having kind of a mid-afternoon crash, it could just be a sign of having a sleep debt.
Well, and Rebecca is one of my clients, and we have talked about this. Okay. She has been getting up at 3:45 in the morning and has a stressful job and going through graduation. So, Rebecca, you are probably feeling tired because you were tired. And just like I said, no working out early this week. She's taking a week off to rest and recuperate, because she's also planning a wedding, and that's just a lot. So you've gotten a lesson last week about another lesson about technology and affecting your sleep, and not getting enough sleep. Well, this week is going to be about your sleep cycles and how many sleep cycles you should get throughout the night, and how to get quality sleep cycles. Now depending on what time you go to bed and what time you get up, obviously will dictate how many sleep cycles you get in. But the whole thing with a sleep debt is, are you doing certain things that are disrupting your sleep, like getting up at 3:45? That's disrupting, sleep. And depending on what time do you go to bed at. So I get up at 4:30 every single morning. My body has gotten used to that. I wake up a little bit before my alarm clock goes off. So I don't find that hard. That doesn't feel like it disrupts me too much, because I go to bed at a decent hour, enough to get, enough to make me functional. I could probably go a little bit, earlier and feel better. But, I'd be lying if I didn't feel a little bit tired or in mid-afternoon, like that 3 o'clock hour. But I will say this, when I stopped drinking my coffee in the afternoon, after a while, I'm not saying right off the bat, I started sleeping so much better, and I didn't get super tired in the afternoon. That was another thing we both did. We both had coffee every day in the afternoon, and I said, coffee doesn't affect my sleep. I got to sleep just fine. And then we stopped drinking it in the afternoon, and I really feel like I can go to bed a lot sooner.
Oh, yeah. I don't stay up wide awake, just kind of, and I sleep more soundly, So this is coming, obviously. There's going to be a lesson about caffeine, and I know it's going to crush people's hearts and stuff, but if you are truly motivated for the best health possible, it requires some good sleep. And so for us, it was a natural evolution of, number one, denial, that we gave up our caffeine. And then number two, we had to figure out how to feel that warm hug in a different way in the afternoon, because it was very much a moment. Like I needed my 2 p.m., coffee because I hit that crash or whatever. But as soon as I stopped doing that in the mid-afternoon, I found myself not being super dragging tired, even though I get up at 4:30. But I think it was because I was able to go to sleep earlier and more soundly.
Yeah.
So I think that answers your question. What is it? Hi.
And for anybody who has a Fitbit, or if you were thinking about purchasing one, well, this is Mary Clayton's band. I took it. It didn't fit her. It was too small. But it tracks your sleep cycles. The more advanced ones do. And I love, looking at it. And it may not even be right, but at least I know how many hours I got.
Yeah. And so your sleep habit this week is... for a level 1, so we're going to start dividing those up because, sometimes you just need to try to be better. And sometimes you're like, okay, I can handle a little bit more complicated. So that's the difference between level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is your tech curfew, which is a new one this week, and that will grow. It's going to be 15 to 30 minutes before you hit the hay. And that bedtime of going to sleep is still the same as the 15-minute prior CK bedtime. That's your goal. Now a level 2, your goal is going to be minimum a 30-minute curfew and then a 30-minute earlier bedtime from what you were doing in CK. So that's going to stay the same for this week. It's going to get bumped up a little bit on that you'll start Saturday night. You'll get it in that lessons recap Saturday of the new sleep habit to start, so you can check off that new habit for week 3. But the screens, cut them out because it's gonna keep you awake, and we want to try to get to sleep as soon as possible. I struggle with this because I love scrolling, the hunt. Didn't you find that fascinating about the whole dopamine hit? Like it's not like the pleasure hormone, it's more about the hunt and the seek.
Yes.
And so
I found it very interesting.
Hit.
Scroll.
Yeah.
Put them away.
All right,
Find you a book.
Find a book, read some pages.
Yes. Get smarter.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions about level 1, level 2 nutritional eating habits, reach out to your coach. Remember, level 1 is where you want to be, and just don't go below it. If you feel like dipping into level 2 just to try it out, it's totally fine, but don't feel like that you have to, because results, they lie in level 1 habits.
Yes. And setting up that foundation. I feel like if you try to jump in at level 2, that you're just kind of set and not become a consistent level 1 first. You kind of setting yourself up for unrealistic habits or goals depending on where you're coming from.
Right.
And we do progress updates this weekend. The first time. Take
Every
the
2
pictures.
weeks. Yes.
Measure.
Yep. And then we'll just keep rocking and rolling. So bring on week 3. Let us know if you have any questions. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.